Canelo Exposed by Bivol proudly presents some of the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of Canelo Exposed by Bivol subscribers. Now, we got another live today. I'm in a bit of a different location, so don't mind the painting or whatever, but I'm in a different location today. Got some things to take care of this week, so I'm not home. I'm not with Pops. This will be a solo live stream today, but look, man, we got a great topic for you guys today. You know, it's David Benavidez fight week. You know, a lot of people always talk about David Benavidez fighting Canelo and David Benavidez fighting Charlo and all these guys, but guess what? Let's take this time to just get excited about the fact that David Benavidez is active, that David Benavidez is fighting, and that David Benavidez is going to try to drum up some more interest into getting a big fight. You know, a lot of times in boxing, I've noticed this with boxing fans and even myself. Like sometimes we don't really get excited about what's happening. We get too focused on what's not happening. So yeah, he's fighting David Lemieux this weekend for the WBC interim title. It's a chance for him to, you know, put a former world champion's name on his resume and fight another hard puncher and hopefully give the fans an exciting fight. So listen, man, let's be positive. It should be a good fight. And it should lead to bigger and better things, just so long as Benavidez can go in there, be consistent, and beat Lemieux, which he should, because the reality is this. Look, David Lemieux, we know David Lemieux can punch hard. We know that David Lemieux comes to fight. We know David Lemieux has the ability to knock people out, but we haven't seen David Lemieux really in a real fight for like about half a decade now, because if you look at the opposition he's fought since losing to Billy Joe Saunders all those years ago, the biggest name he's fought thus far was Spike O'Sullivan, who, to his credit, like he knocked out Spike O'Sullivan in one round. But Spike O'Sullivan, if that's the best you can do over a 5-year period, then obviously, you know, it's not a great run of form. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. Let me see. Sahi Luke says Canelo is a bitch ass fake boxer. My girl and I got problems because I lost mad cash on this fake ass. Fuck him. Why would he call out Bivol if you ain't gonna fight him with balls? Bitch ass fake Nello. Well, hey man, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm really sorry to hear what's going on with you and your girl. Damn, Canelo exposed some more. I didn't know it was that deep. Canelo out here causing relationship problems because he lost. So hey man, this is why I always advise people you should never ever bet on things you can't control. You, like, for me personally, like I don't really bet on fights. I never bet on fights. Because I'm not the one controlling it. Now, if it was me fighting or if it was me playing the sport against someone else, then I can control that. So I would bet on myself, but I'm not in the ring fighting. So why would I? That's just that's how I think. Not everybody thinks that way. You know, do what you want to do, but yeah, don't put yourself in those kind of like unfavorable positions. You know what I'm saying? You know, we got my man Usam, the fanboy killer. What's good, champ? He says Jamel is a lion, Jermall is a cub, and I agree with that. We'll get more into that in a second. And then Usam also says, you're damn right. Fuck Canelo. And you listen, I'm going to tell you guys this. If you guys think that I'm a Canelo hater, which, like I've said many times before, I'm really not. You guys just take it that way because you're sensitive. What I can say is this. Usam is way worse than me. Usam is cold-blooded. Usam is ruthless. So don't ever mess with Usam when it comes to the Canelo talk. But listen, man, I wanted to get into it, man. I'm just going to jump right into the topic. I'm not sure how long this live is going to be, so I'm just going to feel it out and see how it goes. But, you know, Jermall Charlo, right? Not Jermall, because Jermall is the one that's fighting people. Jermall is the one that's going for greatness. Jermall is the one that time and time again, he shows his quality in boxing. He shows just exactly who he is. And it's the complete opposite from Jermall. Jermall seems content to just fight these cannon fodder opposition or guys that have already been beaten multiple times by other top names in the division. He hasn't really ever seemed like hell bent on making the big fights happen. He didn't want to fight Andre. He talked a good game about Golovkin, but I have questions about that. And then, you know, now or at 168, he's been doing a lot of talking about David Benavidez. Now, mind you, I'm not a big fan of either of these guys. I have issues with both of them. I don't like Jermall that much, and I don't even. Benavidez is cool, and he seems like he's down to fight anybody. But I even have just issues with him in the perception of who he is in the sport of boxing right now. So I don't have a dog in the race. Personally, I don't have a dog in the race. But the way I see it right now, at 168, with the way the landscape is, these two need each other. These two need each other in the worst way possible. I'm going to explain to you guys what I mean. So obviously, Benavidez has been calling out Canelo. Charlo has been calling out Canelo. They both want to fight Canelo. They both are in that Canelo, sweepstakes, so to speak. Neither one of them, I believe, will get the chance to fight Canelo next because Canelo is trying to get that Bivol rematch, okay? So Canelo's tied up. As Canelo stated before, he's busy, right? So that's already one guy off the list, right? Go on to Andrade, right? Now, Andrade had his fight scheduled with Zach Parker, to which he re-aggravated a shoulder injury. He pulled out the fight, and who knows what's going on with him. Now they're saying that fight's off. Parker gets reinstated back as the number one full WBO contender, and Andre has to go down to 160, and he has to fight the winner of Johnny Beck versus Danny Dignam. So we don't know what the hell is going to come of Andrade's career. So he's off the list, all right? So Canelo's off the list, and Andrade's off the list, right? You got Caleb Plant, who right now is in a bunch of uncertainty. We don't know what route he's going to go after the knockout loss to Canelo, but more rational minds would assume that Caleb Plant is going to probably take a lesser opponent, a tune-up fight, so to speak. He's going to go the route of probably fighting a guy like Anthony Durrell, knock the cobwebs off, beat a guy like Anthony Durrell, just so long as he takes care of business, and then maybe a big fight. But he's not going to be available immediately. So you already got Canelo, Andrade, and Plant off the table right there straight away, right? Then you got the wild card of the division. You got David Morel Jr. Now, David Morel Jr. is extremely, extremely talented, a guy that I truthfully believe can win a world title by his 10th professional fight. He's got 6 pro fights now. I'm thinking by 4 more fights now, he should either be challenging for a title or he should be champion. It'll be one of the two. But I don't see Morel right now as a guy that Charlo or Benavidez, who are more established guys that are looking to really make some waves in their career with a big fight. I don't think that's a guy they want to fight right now because the risk just ain't the reward. So you already have Canelo, Andrade, Plant, and Morel off the table, just straight like that. Then you got Edgar Berlanga, right? Because I want to go through the whole 68th division and all the options, and so I can make my point. But shout out to all 8 of you here. Make sure you guys smash that like button. It's your boy BT talking that boxing like nobody else can. Glad to have you guys here. It's been a long day for me, so happy to be here talking to you guys. But yeah, you got Edgar Berlanga, right? Edgar Berlanga is a guy that Benavidez has mentioned fighting before. Their name's been linked. Edgar Berlanga, he's fighting on the Puerto Rican Day Parade June 11th, and mind you, he's with Top Rank, and mind you, Top Rank is going to be very careful with him because he's looked less than stellar in his last couple of fights. So they're going to take the time with him. So he's off the table. So I say all that to say that if Benavidez wins this weekend, which he should against David Lemieux, there is absolutely no reason on earth that Jermall Charlo and David Benavidez shouldn't be happening next, because all the guys that these guys could potentially fight or wanted to fight or want to fight, they either have uncertainty in their career, they're coming back after a devastating loss, or they're exploring bigger options, okay? So there's 5 big names off the table for both of them, okay? Now, with that being said and with that being established, if those two were to fight each other, Benavidez and Charlo, right, that would be the fight that would really, I think, define their careers. They're looking at both becoming stars, right? They always talk about wanting to be stars and wanting to make that big money, right? The best way I think PBC, Charlo, Benavidez, and all parties involved could make the most money is if by the 4th quarter of this year they make a big fight happen between these two, and they both ran their mouths so much. Like Benavidez has posted stuff on Instagram talking about, I'll stop this dude. Charlo said that Benavidez got to take a vaccine to fight me. It's just been a lot of nonsensical BS, for lack of a better term, between all these fighters. And I really think that PBC and both these guys are missing out on creating what could be the next big star at 168. Because right now, if you want to just keep it all the way a buck, Jermall Charlo really ain't fighting nobody spectacular. No, he fought Montiel's last fight. He's fighting Selecki now. Fought Brendan Adams, and the crazy thing is he's not even looking great in these fights. Like, he's winning these fights. He's doing what he needs to do, so he gets credit for that. But he's not even looking spectacular in these fights, which he should be. You fight a Montiel when you're a Jermall Charlo to look spectacular. You fight a Brendan Adams when you're a Jermall Charlo to look spectacular. So I feel like his career, which was once very promising when he was at 154 and he was knocking out J-Rock Williams and all that stuff, his career has stagnated. And I'm going to tell you this, if Jermall Charlo don't at least show some ambition to fight someone with a pulse this year that could give him a tough fight, then he's looking at being one of the most unimportant champions in boxing. And that's messed up to say, because you don't ever want to discredit or put down a guy who's put the work in to become a champion. But, with great power comes great responsibility. With great talent becomes great expectation. And that's why I'm so hard on Charlo. That's why I'm hard on a lot of these guys, because, you can't have all that talent and let it go to waste. It's like the great movie, A Bronx Tale. What did they tell the kid in the movie? They said the saddest thing in life is wasted talent. And it looks like Jermall Charlo, as fights go on and on and on, Jermall Charlo's pissing away his talent. He's got the body language and the behavior of a complacent fighter, and he doesn't really want to see how great he is. So that's why I'm at with Charlo. As far as with Benavidez has been his own worst enemy his entire boxing career. He's been his own worst enemy, and his management team has been his own worst enemy. And shout out to everybody here. I'll get to the comments. So if you're commenting, I'm not responding. I'll get to all you guys. All right, I'll get to all you guys one by one. If you want me to comment immediately, super chat and whatever. But like with Benavidez, right? He's been his own worst enemy, because Benavidez was in prime position to ascend, and he would have already been a superstar already if he wasn't undisciplined. He was the youngest ever super middleweight champion of all time when he burst on the scene back in, in 2017 or 2018 or whatever it was, when he fought Morel Medina and he threw that 7-punch combination. He had the eyes of the boxing world on him. He had everybody wanting to know who this kid was, and he had everybody wanting to know, just how far could this kid go. And then that's when, the having problems making weight came into play. That's when the cocaine came into play. So he's been his own worst enemy, and he ain't really fought nobody great either. I think part of that too. I think part of his problems too, Benavidez, have been because of his manager, Samson Lukowitz, because Samson Lukowitz wants a damn Roth IRA 401k pension plan to fight Demetrius Andrade. He said he wanted $7 million to fight Andrade, and that's not feasible. That's not realistic. That's not irrational. This is the boxing business. This isn't the Make-A-Wish Foundation. This isn't a charity. You gotta be reasonable when you're making demands for fights. And $7 million just to start negotiating with Andrade is not reasonable. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. There's also the fact that Benavidez should have already been a light heavyweight. That's where they really pissed. That's where Samson, his dad, that's where they really, really messed up. He should have moved to light heavyweight like 3 years ago, maybe even 4 years ago, because he's a big kid. We know he has a hard time making the weight, and that's a glamour division. It's one of the original 8-weight classes in boxing. So that would have been more advantageous for Benavidez. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because if you guys remember, right, and I've mentioned this quite a few times, but I'm going to mention it again. Benavidez when he missed weight one time, right, the WBC's just moved him up to number one contender in the WBC rankings. He could have fought Zepeda a couple years ago, but his team and him didn't want to do that, so they went to the WBC and they asked to be reinstated into the 168 rankings, and he just fought a whole slew of average cannon fodder opposition. Your Ronald Ellis's, your Romero Angulos, your these kind of guys that really, credit to them. They're game fighters. I don't want to disrespect them, but when you're at the level of a Benavidez, you know what I'm saying? You shouldn't be fighting these guys at this point in your career. Benavidez is what? How old is Benavidez? Benavidez has got to be pushing what, like 25? How old is he? I want to know exactly how old he is. I know he's like 24 or 25. He's 25 years old, right? So like, it just goes to show you like where boxing is these days. And I don't want to put down boxing, but like with Benavidez, right? Benavidez is 25. And it's crazy because they always talk bad about Oscar De La Hoya, right? But when Oscar De La Hoya was 23, he had already fought the likes of Jesse James Leija, John Molina. He was getting ready to fight Julio Cesar Chavez. Like 25 back in like the 90s is a lot different than what 25 is now in boxing. Guys just now start fighting for title eliminators at 25. Back then, 20 years ago, even 10, 15 years ago, guys were fighting for, fighting top guys, top contenders, and there was no problem with these guys losing. But, now today it's like, man, like Benavidez isn't one of these guys you got to protect. Like, honestly, like Benavidez is not one of these guys you got to protect. Benavidez is a guy that people take a liking to, and they should take a liking to him because he has that persona as if he is down to fight anybody. And I believe that he is down to fight anybody. But the unfortunate thing for him is that like he's not in control of that. Like, he's not. It's Samson. So I say all these things on both sides to say that because these guys have screwed their careers over in one way or the other, they need each other. And the landscape of the division is pushing them in that direction. So hopefully, we can put our egos aside. Hopefully, both these fighters can refrain from getting into a big pissing contest and just come together as businessmen in the sport and make a fight the fans want to see. Charlo has his fan base. Benavidez has his fan base. They both talk a lot of trash. They both have given fans great moments in the ring. They both proven that they're top quality, upper echelon fighters in their weight division. So, what's the holdup? I mean, it'd be one thing, right? It'd be one thing if like we were talking about Andre or even like a Zach Parker, right? Or just anybody at 68. Anybody else 68 who's not PBC. But these guys are two PBC like stalwarts. Like these are the two. When you talk about Al Heyman and PBC, you talk about Benavidez. You talk about Jermall Charlo. So I don't see why it should be such a hard thing to do. But we'll see how it goes. Let me get to some comments and acknowledge some of the fine folk that are here watching. So Ken Kanichi, he says there's something soft in Jermall's heart. You think so? Let me know, Ken, in the comments. Why do you say that? I'd like to know why you say that. G Funky says wasted talent. Yeah, the saddest thing in life is wasted talent. And unfortunately, due to how the boxing industry set up, we got a lot of fighters these days with all the talent in the world to be great fighters and potentially all-time great fighters. But due to sometimes the boxing business and then sometimes even them themselves, sometimes the fighters' egos and sometimes the fighters' inability to want to take some damn risks, they screw themselves. John Johnson says, who has his brother fought? Who has Jermall fought? Jermall's fought the best 154 pounders of his era. He's fought the who's who. He's left no stones unturned when it comes to, the guys he's fought. He fought Tony Harrison twice. And Tony Harrison is one of the most skilled 54 pounders in the division. In my opinion, if you want to talk about pure boxing skills, he is the best 154 pounder in the division. He fought him twice. He lost the first fight, eventually with a knockout. Fought him. He fought Brian Castagna recently, who was an undefeated champion. He fought Jason Rosario, who was coming off the big Julian Williams win. He fought John Jackson, who was a tough guy at that time for him. He fought Erickson Lubin. How soon they forget? He fought Erickson Lubin when Erickson Lubin was supposed to become the youngest champion in boxing and just ascend into stardom, and he popped that balloon real quick, and the hype died down. So Jermall Charlo has fought everybody that you could have possibly have asked him to fight in his weight division. And yeah, that's a great movie, A Bronx Tale. I would highly advise if anybody hasn't seen A Bronx Tale, go watch it. It's a masterpiece of a movie. I actually saw the movie, and then I remember one time I actually they had a musical here in Fort Lauderdale, and I went one time with one of my friends, and it was great. Ken Kanichi says the strippers are giving these guys coke. Hey, that's their business. I just think, look, how whatever they're gonna do to stay away from the coke, because it's not doing them no good. Benavidez has not fought a great fighter, but he has smashed some decent fighters. That's true. I mean, when he fought Romero Angulo, that's a guy right there that had never been stopped. Very durable, very experienced. Took Zurdo Ramirez the full 12 rounds. Was coming off of a big win against the very hyped up undefeated Anthony Sims, and Benavidez stopped him. So I'm not gonna say Benavidez's resume is trash. It's not trash. He's fought good guys to get to his position. There's thousands of boxers in the world, right? I always say this to people. There's thousands of boxers in every weight class in the world. And the fact that we even know Benavidez, and I'm sitting here aimlessly talking about him, that means he's done something to get to this position. So shout out to him. But the same thing could be said for Jermall Charlo. Jermall Charlo fought Julian J. Rock Williams at 154 when he was looked at to be a big deal and the next great Philadelphia fighter, and he was undefeated, and they both put it on the line, and he had the best performance of his career. So he's beat some good fighters too. Salute to you, Jose. That's right. Canelo Exposed by Bill. That's right. Talk to him. Let me see. Canelo will never step into the ring with him. Trust me. Talking about Benavidez. I mean, look, man. You guys know I'm no Canelo fan, as you can tell by my channel name. But I think Canelo would absolutely fold up David Benavidez. I don't know why. I don't get and see why everybody just thinks that that's gonna be some cakewalk for David Benavidez. You know what I'm saying? So, well, but look, there's only one way to find out. I'm not against the fights happening. I would rather the fights happen and we see what these guys are made of than for us to just be sitting here and talking about it on these little StreamYard lives until we're old and gray. You know what I'm saying? So, Fresh BX, what's good, champ? What it do? What it do, man? I hope all is well. You know what I'm saying? I'm just enjoying my Monday, getting ready for a great week of boxing. Jermall showed with a cab driver in his last fight, though. He did. You know what was crazy about that fight, right? That was the Montiel fight. And Montiel, very awkward guy, a Mexican fighter, but doesn't necessarily fight completely like a traditional Mexican fighter. Very, 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 very slick and crafty and just weird. Just a weird guy to deal with in there. But one thing I found very interesting, and not just about that fight, but the last couple of Jermall Charlo fights at 160 is that he's become a jab dominant fighter, which isn't a bad thing. But I think when you're fighting another world class opponent, world championship caliber fighter, he's gonna need that right hand, and that right hand hasn't been there for him. So, I think Jermall Charlo might be lacking a little bit of confidence in that right hand. That's just an observation. I could be wrong, but we got to see him in there with like some of the other top guys to really know. Ken says Jermall seems soft on the Mike Tyson show. Yeah, he didn't really keep that same energy. Like, I'm gonna say this, right? And this is no slight on Jermall. It's just me telling the truth, speaking it how I see it, right? So there was an incident this week at the press conference for Jermall Charlo's fight with Castano where an Australian reporter had asked Jermall Charlo about fighting Tim Tszyu, right? And the way the reporter phrased the question was that Tim Tszyu had said that he was soft, which funny enough, right? The reporter said that Tim Tszyu said he was soft, and then I realized, if you guys watched the channel, if you guys remember, I went to the Tim Tszyu media workout, and I asked him the question about a tweet that he made because Tim Tszyu had tweeted something like in January or something like that, calling the Charlo brothers the Pussycat Dolls or something like that. So I asked him about it at the media workout, and there were a lot of cameras there, a lot of channels with a lot of subscribers and a lot of views, aside from mine, were there. And I'm sure that the Australian writer probably saw it, right? So I may have inadvertently influenced that moment, but he got all mad and stuff, and his brother took offense to it, and his brother started calling the Australian reporter a bitch and slapped this camera and all this stuff. But from certain angles, it looked like he slapped the reporter. I'm just saying all this to say, I wish he had the same energy to fighting Benavidez and Andrade and on the Mike Tyson show as he did towards the Australian reporter, straight up, because it's just a simple question. He's your mandatory. He did say these things. You shouldn't be getting upset, but it is what it is. Jermall just become undisputed champion. I get it. They didn't want to hear about no damn Tim Tszyu. So I get where they're coming from, but know what I'm saying? Ricardo, what's up? Ricardo says, hey, man, what's up? Saludes from Nicaragua. Let's go, Charlo. He likes Charlo. Okay, well, shout out to you from Nicaragua, man. Shout out to the whole country of Nicaragua, the home of my favorite fighter of all time, Roman Cholatito Gonzalez. And you know what? Hold on. Before I move any further, let me make that clear to people, because ever since all this Canelo Exposed by Bivol stuff started, people have been saying your favorite fighter Andrade, your favorite fighter this, your favorite fighter that, and they're trying to use these things to try to insult me. And listen, you can insult me, just have your facts straight, right? Have your facts straight. Andrade is one of my favorite fighters, but he's not my favorite fighter. My favorite fighter was, and will always be Roman Cholatito Gonzalez. So please start getting that right, people. Let me see. What else we got. We'll go to Fifth Ward. I like his name. Were you saying that Were you saying that when Boo Boo crashed the Canelo post fight comments and Canelo told him to get the fuck out of here? Yeah, I was saying Canelo's right to have the same energy. Were you saying that? Saying what? When I was saying what? What I can tell you, what I was saying about if you go back and you check the videos at that time when I made the video about Boo Boo Andre crashing the press conference, what I did say was that Canelo Alvarez talked a whole lot of trash and said he was going to do all these things to Demetrius Andrade, but he didn't really get up from that seat. So I said that. I did say in that video where I did say when he crashed press conference, I don't know where Canelo's from, but where I'm from, when you make statements like I'm gonna F you up, you actually have to back it up. He didn't back it up. He just sat there with Eddie Hearn and Reynoso hurling insults. I did say that, but please clarify what you mean. 168 is a decent weight class. They just don't want to fight each other. You know what it is? Yeah, I think so. I think Charlo. Well, first it really starts with Charlo, right? It starts with Charlo, and then it starts with Benavidez as manager, and then it's like a trickle down effect. So Charlo wants to maintain the undefeated record, and then Benavidez wants to fight, but Samson Lukowicz doesn't want to fight. Doesn't want him to fight anybody because he wants the $100 million Canelo pension plan, and that's just not gonna go. Especially not now because Canelo's got a lot of pride. He's a prideful man. He's worked hard to accomplish a lot of what he wanted to accomplish in his career. And he's going to want to go fight Bivol now. Should Canelo be fighting Bivol at 168? Not really. I think that's bullshit. I think if Canelo wants to really prove he's great, he should at least attempt to go to the rematch and do the rematch at 175. Because Bivol can't make 168, and whether Canelo likes it or not, Bivol is the A side. And if he can't make the weight, then there should be no fight at 168. Ricardo says, hey, man, you can come here to Nicaragua. There's nice girls and fiesta time. You know what? It's on my list. I want to go to Nicaragua at some point. I've got a couple of friends in Nicaragua, and I want to go there and at least like go to the Cholatito gym whenever he's training there again. Ordinary P, what's good, champ? Hold on. By the way, guys, do me a favor. Smash that like button. If you're new here, subscribe, super chat, all that good stuff. And let me know what city you're watching the live from tonight. I'm in South Florida as always. I'm here in Broward County, my home. Dania Beach, stand up. We here. What's good, Ordinary Pete? I give Lemieux credit for stepping up to the fight against Benavidez. Absolutely. I'm not gonna sit here and disrespect Lemieux. Like a lot of guys don't want to fight Benavidez. I'm not gonna say everybody doesn't want to fight him, but a lot of guys don't. And it shows you, like, look, Lemieux has never been the best skilled boxer in the world, but there's no fear in his heart, and he's willing to show the world that hey, that maybe he could pull off an upset. I don't think he will, but at least he's trying to make the fight happen. He's making the fight happen. He's stepping up. He's behaving like a fighter should behave. So hopefully, for his sake, he's prepared like a fighter. Hopefully, for his sake, he's prepared like a champion. Because I'm going to tell you this. I've heard, I think it was Usama or someone came on here one night from Canada and said, they've heard back in the gyms that Benavidez or Lemieux isn't training his best. My thing is this. If he can take the fight and he'll get credit for that, but if you don't put that work in to give yourself the best chance to win, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. And Lemieux, like I said, Lemieux is not no great skill boxer, but Lemieux's got great punching power, and a guy like him to have a chance against a guy like Benavidez, he's gonna need to be in supreme shape. So anything less than supreme shape is him just coming for a check and him pissing away what is a great opportunity. So that's what it is, man. 168 is weak as fuck from Benavidez to belonging to Charlo. When he moves up, they're all full of talkers, no action. And I'm gonna tell you this: they better start getting into the action because look, people. I put a video out about something David Morel Jr. said about Benavidez. Morel said recently that if he fights Benavidez, he's gonna give him a beating that he'll never forget, right? And a lot of people are. I didn't even say anything bad about Benavidez. All I said was it could be an interesting fight. Morel's very talented. He's an aggressive southpaw. Make it happen, right? I'm gonna say this. If these guys, if these jokers at 168 don't start fighting each other and stay sharp and continue to add tools to their skill set and be in the gym, Dan Morel Jr. is going to come through the back door of the 168-pound division, and he's going to start obliterating everybody. So it's very important because they're not doing themselves any favors by sitting around and having Twitter wars all day. Sound it out, BT. It's Twitter wars. You know what I'm saying? So Usam says, I'm whooping a Reynoso fighter this summer, and I will yell, fuck Canelo every round. Yes, that's crazy. Yeah, Usam's apparently about to go to San Diego in the summer. So we'll see what happens. Lemieux is there for the money, and his management team knows it. He doesn't belong in 168, and he always had problems with discipline. That's why Russ Abner kicked him out of his gym. See, I didn't even know that. But, listen. And then if that's the case, then I'm looking at Benavidez to knock out Lemieux the same way Lemieux knocked out Curtis Stevens all those years ago. He better tighten the hell up. Well, actually, if he hasn't already tightened the hell up, then that time is past, And the sad thing for Lemieux is, right, if he's not prepared for this fight, he's not a guy, like even when he was in his prime, and I'm talking about Lemieux. When Lemieux was in his prime, he wasn't the most durable guy. Like Golovkin knocked him out, beat him up slowly. He fought Marco Antonio Rubio. Rubio knocked him out in 7. He fought Joaquim Alcine, a guy that he was supposed to beat, lost to him. So this is a guy that had flaws in his prime, and he's definitely going to have flaws now. So if I take your word for it, Usam, it's going to be bad. Johnny Thunder says, why are you so confident that Canelo fools Benavidez? David is tough as hell, and Canelo's power is overrated. Bivol took it easy. Once Canelo slows down versus David, he's in trouble. It's quite simple, honestly, and I don't like Canelo. I don't like either of them, to be honest with you. But, I really, really don't like Canelo. But the reason I'm saying that I think Canelo will beat Benavidez is because, for one, Benavidez should not be at light heavyweight, or he should not be at super middleweight. He should be at light heavyweight. He is killing himself to make the weight. The longer he stays there, the worse it's going to be for him. And anybody who knows anything about weight and how it works, and when you weight drain and things like that, they'll be quick to tell you that when a fighter is weight drained, right, the fluid around their brain, there's less fluid around their brain, and their punch resistance goes down. So I think if Benavidez were to ever get a Canelo fight, by the time he gets it, so weight drained as a super middleweight that stuff that doesn't even look hard will hurt him against Canelo. So that's number one. Number two, David Benavidez fights exclusively out of the high guard. So does Canelo. But the thing is, Canelo is very good about most of the time, unless you're like a Bivol type of skilled fighter or a Floyd or something like that. He's very good at getting on the inside. And I just think, look, when they get on the inside in that high guard and Canelo starts catching them punches and countering to the body, Benavidez will fall. I mean, this is the same Benavidez that's been dropped by a jab. He's not. Listen, I'm trying to tell you guys, that fight is not what you think it is. And I know it's very easy right now to shit on Canelo and say, oh, well, Canelo is garbage and he can't punch, which you're fine to say when it comes to the light heavyweight division. But at 168, Canelo's shown he can get guys out of there. So you give Canelo at least that much of a chance against Benavidez. Benavidez, look, man, I'm not sold. I'm sorry. You guys can say I'm being a hater of Benavidez, all this stuff. I'm not sold. Never have been. Well, that's not true. I have been sold, but once he started missing weight and being undisciplined and not living the life of a fighter, that's when I stopped believing. You know what I'm saying? So it's no slight on him. He's more than happy to prove me wrong, and I have no problems admitting I was wrong. There's no problems with me being wrong. It doesn't hurt me or help me if I'm wrong or I'm right. I'm here talking boxing like the rest of these channels. What's good with my boy Johnny? He says, I want a quick acknowledgement. Tigre is in the finals, baby. Shout out to Johnny, the pride and joy of all of North Las Vegas. Shout out to him. And Tigre, making some big power moves in Argentinian football in the finals. And he said the Panthers coming too. You damn right, Johnny. The greatest show on ice, the Florida Panthers, the Stanley Cup champions. You damn right. That's the best thing you said so far. Canelo's power isn't overrated. Maybe it is at light heavyweight. That's what I'm saying. Like, light heavyweight's just much too big. It's too big. He's capped out, and there's no problem with that. You're still undisputed at 168. This Benavidez fight is a fight people want to see. So let's not waste any time. You either fight Benavidez or you could fight. I just don't want to see Bivol, anything but Bivol, because you're not like. And I'm gonna come out and say it right now. All right, people may not like this and they may see this as me being a hater, but it's just it's about what's right. If Canelo fights Bivol in a rematch at 168 instead of 175 and he wins, I'm not giving him any respect. Zero. He would get zero. Because, and I'm going to tell you why. Because when do you ever see a guy lose a fight, get his ass whooped, win like 2 rounds, 3 at the most? When do you ever see a guy who's the loser say, "Oh yeah, well I can't beat you at 175, so I'm gonna fight you in the weight class below"? That's not how it works. If you want to, dare to be great, quote unquote, and legacy is earned and all that BS that they were talking about, then you go up there and you give Bivol his respect as the light heavyweight champion of the world, and you fight him there. Otherwise, don't fight him again. Simple. My man Stickley says, it's a nice channel name. Thank you, man. Thank you. It's not going to be here much longer. Just so you guys know, I want to give you guys the news. Canelo Exposed by Bivol will be the channel name for the rest of this week. And then on May 23rd, we will resume all activities again here on YouTube as the untouchable True School Sports Empire, True School Sports. So just enjoy it. Enjoy the tears. Enjoy the Canelo fans, bitching and moaning. I'm telling you guys, my comment section, every 5 minutes, if I go on my dashboard on YouTube, I see a Canelo Alvarez fan crying and moaning that I changed my name. Well, if I change my name and you don't like it, then go to another channel. BT, Canelo is not a real 168. Benavidez will impose himself on him like Bivol did. Well, we'll see. I beg to differ. You know what I'm saying? But look, I went on this long tangent, and I kind of lost track of what I really wanted to say. But with this week, right? With this week, and I'm gonna go to screen share. Let's go to screen share. By the way, shout out to all 15 of you here. Smash that like button. Good to see everyone here in the chat, super chat, all that good stuff. We here just talking boxing, having fun. Anybody who comes in here with some BS, well, that's on them. I'm just a boxing fan. Anyway, going to what I wanted to show you guys on Twitter, right? So Jermall Charlo fought this weekend. Credit to him. I think people universally in boxing should start recognizing Jermall Charlo as a great fighter, because he is a great fighter. He's taken all the risks. He's been a dignified champion. Yeah, you can feel the type of way about how he acts and the shit talking and things like that. You feel how you want to feel, but as a fighter in that square circle, in that boxing ring, he has been one of the most dignified champions this sport has to offer. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. And whether you love him or you hate him, this past weekend he cemented himself as someone that will be in the boxing history books forever. So please give that man his due. But in light of Jermall Charlo winning his fight against Castaño, he talked about going from 154 to 160, right? And in going to 160, Jermall Charlo, as you guys can see right here, told Marcos Villegas in an interview that he's going up to 168. So if he's not bluffing, and if that's the truth, then there ain't no other options but then to fight, David Benavidez, So I hope it's true. I hope you don't go over there and start fighting, I don't know, Marcus Morrison or people like that. Like, I hope he goes up there and fights like legitimate competition and goes in there and tries to really put his stamp on the 68-pound division. But I have my doubts, but he is trying to, go up to 168. These are his words. So anybody who's a Charlo fan who may watch this now or on the playback that says, "Oh, BT, why do you always hate on the Charlos? Why do you always hate on Lions only?" First of all, I never hate on the Charlos. I've always told you guys, I have a big problem with Jermall. I ain't got no problems with Jermall. Jermall to me has done everything and then some. So you give that man his just due. It's Jermall who's pissing away his talent. It's Jermall who's become complacent. It's Jermall who talks a good game, but when it comes time to make a fight happen, he don't back it up. That's who I have a problem with, to be honest with you. So let me get that clear. But yeah, he's going to 168. You see, Strictly says, "I like Canelo, but I'm a Cotto fan, so yeah, I enjoyed this fight." Yeah, I feel you, man. Shout out to Miguel Cotto, big fan of his too. Hell of a fighter in his day. that actually, if you want to hear some positive stuff about Canelo, because everybody says I just hate, that was actually one of his best fights was Cotto. When he fought Cotto wasn't too far removed from beating up on Sergio Martinez, lineal champion. He was doing some great things at his age, and Canelo wasn't. Canelo was less experienced than he was now, and that was one of his best performances as far as like the counterpunching goes. So, hey, shout out to Canelo. Fresh BX says Jermall is a serial double taker. You can't take him at face value at this point. I don't, and I never have, because I remember after he beat Julian Williams, he was saying the whole time before the Julian Williams fight that he was going to move to 160 no matter what happened in the fight, right? And then after he knocked out Julian Williams, he said, I changed my mind. I'm staying 154. And he did for like another fight or two. And then he moved up. It wasn't that long before he moved up, but he lied. So you got a point. He'll say all these bad things about Demetrius Andrade and how he's this and how he would do this and he would do that, but he says everything but let's fight. So it is what it is, man. People say Benavidez and Andrade fight nothing but bones, but it's not their fault the guys don't want to fight them. Well, first and foremost, anybody who says that Benavidez and Andrade only fight bums don't know shit about boxing. They don't know enough about boxing. They're sheep, and they're not well versed enough in the guys they fought. So they just do the intellectually lazy thing, which is just say the guys suck and disrespect all the hardworking fighters that have put all their blood, sweat, and tears into the ring. Even though they lost to these guys, but they demean them by saying they're bums. So please understand that, people. When you start saying that any fighter just fought bums and it's a fighter that has 30 plus fights and it's a guy and guys with champions, world titles and multiple weight classes. When you start saying that about those guys, you're not just disrespecting the fighter, you're disrespecting all the guys on the resume who could have probably fought a guy that you like. So by disrespecting any fighter of that stature, you could be inadvertently disrespecting your own favorite fighter without knowing it. So please keep that in mind. But look, man, that fight's not going to happen because there's too many roadblocks. There's too many roadblocks. Now with Andrade suffering a shoulder injury and now having to get surgery, that fight is looking less and less possible by the day. So it's a lot of things. I think Benavidez beats Canelo because Canelo tends to gas often. He doesn't have show-stopping power. Only dudes he slept with were Kirkland and Khan, and that's a fact. Those were knockouts that Canelo got because the guys were either, so far gone, like as far as their training, or they're just not that big. So of course he got those knockouts. Fresh BX says, nah, BT. He moved up after J-Rock. LOL, that was his last fight, 154. It was one of his fights. It may not have been J-Rock. Maybe it was Austin Trout. Did Jermall fight Austin Trout? I think he fought Austin Trout. Yeah, it was one of the fights then before. It was right before J-Rock. He was saying the whole fight week that he was going to move up to 160. He knocked the guy out, and then he said, I changed my mind. And then I joked around a little bit. I started calling him Jermall, I changed my mind, Charlo. So I'm not even sure if it's not that fight, it was like the couple fights before. But yeah, going back to what I'm saying, like going back to the original point of this live, like fuck Canelo forget him for a second. The bottom line of this live, right? If you guys don't take nothing away from this live, take away the fact that Benavidez and Charlo have never had a clear path towards fighting each other than right now. All the guys they could be fighting, or people want to see them fight, all these guys are off the table for one reason or another. On top of that, especially for Charlo, because Charlo's like 32. Benavidez can mess around for a couple more years because he's 25, but Charlo's 32. The time is now, brother. Like, you got to start fighting some killers. You can't go around yelling at reporters, smacking phones and cameras, and acting like this big bad wolf when you're fighting Brandon Adams. You're fighting these Ring City USA level fighters. Like, you gotta show and prove, man. Like, I don't know where these guys come from. Like, I don't know how they do it in Houston or Mexico or what some of these guys are from. But like where I'm from, when you say something, you actually back it up. Like, so Houston, Jermall Charlo is putting on for you guys. Thank God you have him, because if you guys had to rely on just Jermall, the whole city of Houston would be screwed. Straight up, the whole city of Houston would be screwed if it depended on Jermall Charlo. They would have no proper representation of what a champion looks like in boxing if it was all up to Jermall Charlo. Smacking cameras and hiding behind security. Yeah, he's been doing a lot of that, right? And I find it funny, right? And this actually goes for both of them. Let's go for Jermall as well, right? These Charlos, right? Like, they're both talented. I don't take nothing away from their talent. I don't take nothing away from their accomplishments. I'm not gonna sit here and shit on them as far as skills. But as far as like public perception, how the media deals with them, and how these guys, they win their fights, right? Mr. Keep running your mouth, lions only, this, that, the third, right? And then when they win, they bitch and they moan about how the media and the critics don't give them no just due, don't give them no credit, aren't exactly happy that they win their fights. But then they do stupid shit like smack cameras and hide behind security guards and just do really childish, stupid things. But then they expect people in the media, they expect to endear themselves to the media, who has to write about them every day, who has to be like me and make videos about them, almost every other day. And they're just not thinking straight. Now, is it have the media always been fair to the Charlos? No, they haven't. I'll be honest with you. There is some validity to them crying and moaning, right? But it's mostly for Jermall. Like Jermall, like MB says, we'll cut Jermall some slack because Jermall's out here fighting good people. I mean, Jermall, look, if you look at all three times in his whole undisputed run, when he fought Harrison, when he fought Rosario, and when he fought Castaño, each time Jermall fought a champion, he knocked them out. There were no doubts. So you can give a guy like him some slack for going off on Mike Coppinger, who doesn't have him on the pound for pound list. Like he can go off, all right? But Jermall doesn't even have half a leg to stand on. Straight up. Because this is the same guy that talks all this stuff about Demetrius Andrade, about what he would do to him and this, that, and the third. But then he don't want to fight him. Like, where do these guys come from? Like, I know Houston ain't like that. Like, shout out to H-Town. I've been there once. I'm going to go there again soon. I love the city of Houston. It's a beautiful city. There's a lot of beautiful women and great fighters and a lot of things to really, like, celebrate, But there's no way everybody in Houston is like Jermall Charlo. There's no way. Because this guy doesn't want to fight nobody. Like they say Demetrius Andrade doesn't want to fight anybody, right? But he's been calling for that Charlo fight for years. Went to his press conference, had the man shook. Then Eddie Hearn tried to petition to make the fight happen. These guys are bragging about blackballing Andrade. Like, come on, man. Like, this can't be how Houston is. I know Houston doesn't get down like that. Thank God for Jermall Charlo, because he's giving them good representation right now. But shout out to all 18 of you here at your boy BT, the late night edition. It's damn near midnight here on the East Coast. But give me your comments, questions, thoughts, concerns. We also got on that Benavidez card, right? I want to give this guy a little shine for a couple minutes. We got another upcoming aggressive southpaw Cuban, and that Yoelvis Gomez. I want everybody who watches the card this weekend, if you're gonna watch the card this weekend between Benavidez and Lemieux, please pay attention to Yoelvis Gomez. He's a 154-pound Cuban prospect, southpaw, punches harder in both hands. He's fighting Jorge Cota, who he should knock out. Look out for him, because a lot of people are talking about David Morel as the next Cuban fighter, but he's coming through the back door too. So look out for him. You know what I'm saying? Robert Sanchez, my main man, 50 grand out there in Austin, Texas. What's good, champ? He says, I'm still waiting on Benavidez versus Plant. And you know what? That's another one. I mean, Andrade is one thing because Andrade's not a PBC fighter. But let's just say the three prominent names at PBC from 160 to 168, right? These guys, Plant fought Canelo, right? But as far as fighting each other, these guys got to get to it this year. Like, enough is enough. Like, I've enjoyed the Twitter beefs. I've enjoyed the memes. I made videos about it. I'm not going to sit here and posture and fake the funk like I didn't enjoy it. I did. But at some point, that stuff gets old, and you got to do your talking with these in the ring. So whether it's Charlo Benavidez, Benavidez, it's about damn time like these guys just start fighting each other. Now I know Plant's not going to fight either one of these guys next because like I said earlier in the live, Plant is coming off of the loss to Canelo. He's going to probably take a tune-up fight against Anthony Dirrell, which really isn't a tune-up fight because Anthony Dirrell is a dangerous fighter. You know, we saw what Anthony Dirrell did in his last fight with the uppercut. So he can punch. He's a guy that's held a belt, so you can't say he's bad. But yeah, like I want to see them fight each other. And yeah, Usam boys in sideways. Yeah, H-Town. I love H-Town. I just met a guy at this when I went to this amateur event in Cleveland. I met this nice gentleman who has a gym out there, and amateur coach. You know, everyone I met from Houston, like one of my best friends is from Houston. My boy Felipe. Shout out to Felipe. You know, he's from H-Town. Like everyone that I met from Houston in my lifetime has been 10 toes down solid. They've been 10 toes down solid people. You know, their word is their word. They're straightforward. They're about their business. They're about their families and feeding their families, you know. And Jermall Charlo, he doesn't like. I know what an H-Town. I mean, I'm not from Houston, but like in meeting people in boxing from Houston and people just outside of boxing from Houston, I know what H-Town people are like. He ain't no H-Town dude. Until he fights like a killer, he ain't no H-Town dude. He's not. Well, I'm revoking his Houston card, and I'm not even from Houston. Yeah, really young guy, Elvis Gomez. A young guy, has an incredibly high ceiling as a fighter. He's someone that everyone should be looking out for. You see, Todd Willie not making any of his feelings be hidden. He says Caleb Plant sucks. he said Caleb Plant. Well, listen, man, you're entitled to your opinion. Yeah, I obviously don't think he sucks, but he has lost some respect for me because of him being too friendly in the ring with Canelo Alvarez. Now he's trying to backtrack and say, "Oh well, you know, I was being friendly with Canelo Alvarez, but I'm sorry, Caleb. There's no way around it. You looked real friendly in the ring with Canelo Alvarez, talking about I respect your skills. Like, come on, man. Okay, I didn't know that, but that's good for him. You know, I'll be honest. I've only seen Richard Hitchens fight once. I saw him fight Arrhenius Mendez maybe like 2 years ago, and he looked all right. Like, I mean, I wasn't too gassed on Richard Hitchens, but I hear great things about him in like gyms and stuff like that. But I'm not, from what I've seen, just the one fight, and I know you can't judge a fight about one fight, but from what I've seen, not really over the moon about Richard Hitchens. But you know what? Let's see how he develops. Geo Sport at 10 says, "What's up, BT? How do you rate Charlo's performance?" Jermell, I rate his performance a 9. I give it a 9, and I'm gonna tell you why I give Jermell a 9 out of 10. Because Jermall Charlo has the reputation for being a seek and destroy fighter, especially if you look at the Derrick James era of his career, which really is the era of his career which he's most known for. Most people don't even remember the pre-Derrick James Jermall Charlo, the guy that was a technically sound, you know, slick boxer who could punch a little bit. Derrick James done turned Charlo into a multi-million-dollar knockout artist. You know, he don't get enough credit for it, but he adapted his style in a great way. You know, he was right there in the pocket. I love the way he was using his jab, going to the head, going to the body, changing the eye level of his opponent. I really enjoyed the way that Charlo pivoted. That was probably the best part, was the pivots. When Charlo was getting pressured by Castaño was pulling that intelligent pressure on him. It wasn't like no regular pressure. He put some good pressure on him. And he did a great job of pivoting and not allowing Castaño to cut that ring off on him so he could set his feet and get off his shots. So you got to give Charlo a lot of credit. It was a complete 180 from his last couple of fights when he was just blowing through dudes. This was Jermall Charlo exhibiting the sweet science, and then look, he gave you the sweet science for what was it, 9 rounds, and then he gave you the exclamation point in the 10th round. So you can't really complain. The only reason I'm not gonna give it a 10 is because, you know, he got hit a little bit too much for my liking, and he was a bit squared up at times, like in the 5th round. But all in all, Great performance. What do you think about William Zepeda? Do you think he's ready for higher competition? I mean, he should be. He's 25-0, I believe now, with I don't know, what is it, 23 knockouts? He's got a whole truckload of knockouts now. So now he's at a point where I think he's got to do well. Wait a second. You mentioned Zepeda. I'm gonna assume he won his fight. Did he win his fight against Alvarado this weekend? Because I didn't hear anything about that, so I'm gonna assume he won. What was the exact result of the Zepeda Alvarado fight? Because like I covered the Showtime card, you know, I covered the Triller card, but I didn't really get to see anything of as far as like the zone card. So like, did he knock Alvarado out? Like, what was the result? Because that would let me know about a lot about him. UD? I mean, that's cool. He's just a solid fighter. And if you're saying it was really close, that's not good because, you know, Rene Alvarado has been losing fights by a lot to everybody. Like he lost 2 straight UDs to Roger Gutierrez. He fought Lamont Roach, and Lamont Roach had the best night of his life against him. You were there that night. And yeah, like I just think that he's a good contender. He'll be a good TV fighter, but like on Twitter, right? Because I'll be on Twitter a lot, just looking at people are saying. And people will say that there's this minority of people that say that William Zepeda is the best 135-pounder that Golden Boy has. And people say like, oh, well, if he fought Ryan Garcia, he would knock Ryan Garcia out. And I don't see it. I don't see what all the fuss is about. I don't see what all the hooting and hollering is about. I think he's a solid, strong fighter. Nothing more than that. A guy that will get in the rankings, be in some good TV fights, maybe challenge for a world title along the way and not win. But that's what he is. That's my opinion of him. But we'll see. We'll see how he progresses. By the way, guys, I want to talk about this fight for a little bit too, because Benavidez and Lemieux isn't the only fight going on this weekend. You know, the fight that I actually think is much better. If you guys want my honest opinion, the fight that I think will be a much better fight will be in the UK that same day on DAZN. It's the fight between Craig Richards and Joshua Buatsi. Now, this is a fight that's very intriguing because, first and foremost, we'll start with Craig Richards, right? Craig is a guy that when he was at domestic level in the UK, he was an underdog in a lot of fights at all the betting shops. Nobody really gave Craig a chance to be much of anything outside the British level, right? He beat guys like Jake Ball and Andre Sterling and some good guys domestically, like good solid bodies domestically, right? Then when he stepped up to world level, he got the opportunity to fight Bivol, right? And he gave Bivol some fits. You know, I think Craig's size, his reach, his awkward ways, it really gave Bivol some fits in that fight. And I would be led to believe that Craig is going to take a lot of confidence from that fight. And he's going to come into this fight looking to really show the world that he's one of the best light heavyweights out there. Now, you got Buatsi, right? Buatsi is a guy that I class highly. Like, I rate Buatsi very highly. Buatsi is a guy with great amateur background. Buatsi is a guy that really should probably already have been fighting for a world title already. I think Eddie Hearn really just took his time with him or whatever. But what I think could be the deciding factor in this fight is going to be in the corner. And what I mean by that is Joshua Buatsi is trained by Virgil Hunter. And for those of you that have been following boxing closely, when Virgil Hunter trains anybody not named Andre Ward, it don't go well for him. Like take this weekend, for example. He had Olympic gold medalist Tony Yoka fighting Martin Bacoli. What happened? Bacoli beat Yoka's ass. What happened when he trained Dominic Brazil? Deontay Wilder stretched Brazil in one round. What happened when he trained I could go on and on and on. Virgil Hunter can't coach nobody that's not Andre Ward. And that's going to be put to the test this weekend. So if I'm being honest with you guys, I think Buatsi is the more talented fighter. But because Buatsi has a Virgil Hunter in his corner, I'm leaning with Craig Richards. I think Craig Richards is getting better. And I think Virgil Hunter's inability to coach at the high level without Andre Ward like talented fighters, he can't win. Now I'll say this: if Buatsi somehow beats Craig Richards with Virgil Hunter in this corner, then I know for a fact, it's cemented in my mind that Buatsi is the real deal. But that's the better fight. If you want to be honest, that is the much better fight than Lemieux versus Benavidez. There you go. Fresh BX says Mickey Bay versus Tevin Farmer is this weekend too. Oh my God, you're right. And then Enrique Luna reminds me, Jean Pascal is fighting Friday on Showbox on ProBox, not Showbox, ProBox in Plant City, Florida. Okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I wanted to go to that fight, but I can't make it. So, I'm definitely gonna have to go live for that fight. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. ProBox Promotions doing a good job matching their cards so far. You got Jean Pascal going in the ring of Meng Long Feng or Feng Long Meng, whatever his name is. Listen, man, Pascal's towards the end of his career. I don't think he's got many more fights left, but we've been saying that for years, so we don't know. But what do you guys think? Hey, let me know in the comments down below. Yes or no? Should I go live for the Friday card? What do you guys think? Should I go live for the Jean Pascal fight on Friday? Let me know in the comments. That's right, Usam. He's back. He's back with a vengeance. He's better than ever. He's come for all that smoke. He's got the whole Canada on his back. But yeah, thank you for the reminder, Fresh Picks. I forgot about this card. I might actually buy it. I can't even lie to you. I might actually burn a whole $30 and buy Mickey Bay and Tevin Farmer. People keep saying, BT, why are you so excited about Mickey Bay and Tevin Farmer? Why do you want to see this fight so badly? It's not really about me wanting to see the fight so badly. It's more so like just showing support for Mickey Bay because like when I go to Las Vegas and then like I'm amongst a lot of unfamiliar faces. Like I may know them, but they don't know me yet, right? And from day one, from the day I met Mickey Bay, he was always kind to me, always gracious with his time, always willing to converse about boxing, always wanting to teach me things about boxing, always open to talk on Instagram. Just a great guy. Hard not to love Mickey Bay. So just for that, I'm literally gonna buy this fight just because Mickey Bay's treated me well, and he's a good fighter. And I'm actually intrigued to see what he looks like because I've been seeing him in the gym when I'm in Vegas, training hard and stuff like that. So I'm actually genuinely curious to see what will Mickey Bay look like in a fight against a guy that I think he should beat. Tevin Farmer's a smaller guy, feather-fisted. He should beat him. Oh my God, and you're right, Johnny Beck. So that means we got a lot of boxing to cover this weekend, guys. So thank you for all the reminders. I gotta write all this down. You got Johnny Beck digging them. Pascal versus Meng, Richards Buatsi, Benavidez Lemieux, Baber. It's like 5 cards. That's 5 cards in 2 days, 4 cards on Saturday. So we're gonna be very busy here for you guys. Very, very busy. Well, listen, guys. Look, on that note, I think I'm gonna wrap it up. It's 12:13 here. I just did like a 3-hour drive, 2.5-hour drive. I'm very tired, but I'll be back live on tomorrow at an earlier time. Oh no, yes, I will. I'll be back live tomorrow at an earlier time, probably in the daytime. I'll be live in the daytime tomorrow because tomorrow I'm going to the Florida Panthers versus Tampa Bay Lightning, game 1, second round. I'm going to that tomorrow, so I won't be like by my computer at my normal time. So I'm looking at going live tomorrow afternoon, and I'll see you guys then. But yeah, you guys take care. Keep supporting the channel. Tell a friend to tell a friend because, like, listen, man, the channel is growing. I'm very excited about it. I'm happy about like all the things that are happening, and I want to keep this thing going. I never thought I would get this far, and now it's like, I've gotten this far, and it's like, let's keep going further. Let's keep pushing the envelope. Let's keep giving the people great boxing content and striving to be the best me. So that's what I'm doing. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. See you guys tomorrow. Take care. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.